Welcome back to a brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast here on the 16th of August, 2023. I am your host with the most wrestling information, SlimmDa KID, and for those of you who have never listened to my podcast, this is something spectacular. We have 4 rounds, 4 segments that we go over every single week. Round 1 is the pro wrestling rumor mill. This could be true, these could be absolutely fabricated. It's up to you, the listener, to decide what's real and what is just a rumor. We then move over to round 2, pro wrestling news, actual factual pro wrestling news. Then we move over to round 3, title matches, and those exclusive results brought to you by Round 2 Wrestling for you, the fan. We will conclude this brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast with Did You Know Pro Wrestling Facts, and that comes up in round 4. But this is the beginning of our broadcast, so we are going to kick things off with round 1, the pro wrestling rumor mill. Here we go. PW Insider mentions that WWE brought in former Impact and NWA champion Nick Aldis to last week's Raw taping for a potential producer role. He will also be at several upcoming tapings with WWE. The Wrestling Observer says AEW's Jamie Hayter is dealing with various injuries. Her current estimated return date is February 2024, but that's a, at best, rough estimate. She could be out for longer. Fightful Select heard that Bray Wyatt is finally getting closer to being medically cleared. At one point, the illness he's been fighting was both a career and life-threatening illness. It is good to hear that he has put this in the past and is trending towards a return to the squared circle. The poster for a Rikishi autograph signing later this month includes the sentence, "Come meet Rikishi before he referees at Payback." Naturally, this has led many people to believe that WWE is planning to bring in Rikishi to be a referee for a match related to the Usos' Bloodline storyline. There was and still is a lot of finger-pointing backstage after Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler's SummerSlam match didn't get over, per Wrestling Observer Network. Some blamed Creative for not using Rousey and Baszler's ideas, while Creative blamed Rousey and Baszler for only using their ideas. This was a garbage of a match. I personally attended SummerSlam WWE in Detroit, Michigan 2 Saturdays ago. The entire card was fine except for this match. It was the worst one on the entire card. I said it last week and I'll say it again. It was boring. It was so boring. 50,000 people in Ford Field started chanting that. Once again, I hope WWE moves away from these bullshit gimmick matches like this. If you're going to advertise it being MMA, you should probably let it be MMA. But that is this reporter's personal opinion. The Wrestling Observer heard that Brian Pillman Jr. actually hasn't signed yet with WWE because the company is waiting on the results of a physical. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast that his NXT contract is up soon. We will keep you informed as to whether or not WWE re-signs the Hall of Famer. The IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship is seemingly no more. Current IWGP US Champion Will Ospreay announced after his G1 Climax tournament loss that the US title would be rebranded into something more fitting, the IWGP United Kingdom Championship. While this was seemingly confirmed on various social media platforms, New Japan Pro Wrestling has now announced any official changes to the title. AAA Mexico presented their marquee Triple Mania 31 Mexico City event on August 12th. Current Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo successfully defended his AAA Mega Championship in a 4-way bout against Speedball Mike Bailey, Daga, and Jack Cartwheel. Unfortunately, however, it seems that Vikingo collapsed backstage following this match. A translated caption noted that Vikingo was not feeling well before this match, and his collapsing may have been a result of this illness. No other update on his health was available at the time of this broadcast. AEW officials were happy with Rob Van Dam's match on the August 9th episode of Dynamite per Fightful Select. It is rumored Tony Khan has reached out to RVD in working more matches for the promotion. The Observer says Jim Ross's AEW contract expires next month. No word on whether AEW will re-sign the Hall of Fame announcer to an extended contract. That is the conclusion of round 1 and pro wrestling rumors. So you, the fan, must decide what is actual factual and what is fabricated beyond belief. We are moving on and moving along with this particular podcast. This is round 2 pro wrestling news. On Saturday, October 14th, 2023, Royal Quest 3 returns to where the quest began. New Japan Pro Wrestling will be at the Copper Box Arena, and the arena will host this year's massive event. Already official for the card are G1 Climax 33 winner Tetsuya Natio and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata. So if you are in the UK this fall, be sure to check out Royal Quest 3. More news on a former WWF female manager, Tammy Sunny Sitch, will appear in court this week as she prepares to undergo a trial starting August 21st for charges of DUI manslaughter. In May of this year, Sitch was charged with a total of 9 charges relating to the fatal vehicular accident in Ormond Beach, Florida, where 75-year-old Julian Lastisser was killed. Sitch has pled not guilty to the charges and is awaiting trial. In an executive shakeup ahead of the eagerly awaited merger between WWE and Endeavor, aka UFC, it is being reported that Paul Triple H Levesque, the chief content officer of WWE, will be off of the company's board of directors. This landmark acquisition, valued at a staggering $9.3 billion, aims to integrate WWE and Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, into a single publicly traded entity. AEW CM Punk once again stirs the pot, creating tension within the AEW locker room. After AEW Collision went off the air this past Saturday night, Punk took the time to bury and trash Hangman Adam Page, calling him a peg warmer and a guy who couldn't move merchandise, amongst other things. This was reportedly a very failed and poor attempt at comedy on the part of Punk. Brian Alvarez has since reported CM Punk reached out to Page via a text message and apologized for his actions shortly after. WWE bulking up its legal defense in preparation for a court battle with Major League Wrestling. 2023 has seen MLW versus WWE for the majority of the year, with nothing more than a lot of saber rattling going on. However, in recent weeks, things seem to be moving toward a courtroom showdown. MLW has filed an antitrust lawsuit against the global entity, and WWE announced a total of 14 defenses in light of MLW's claims. Round 2 Wrestling will keep you updated as this trial plays out in the upcoming weeks and months. A former ECW star is finally getting a toy wrestling figure made in his likeness for the first time ever in his career. ECW fan favorite Blue Meanie has been wrestling since 1994 with a variety of promotions such as the WWF, ECW, WWE, and many others. In that time, Meanie has always just missed out on being featured on a wrestling promotion action figure line. Figures Collection Toy Line will be releasing Blue Meanie wrestling figures and are on sale now through the Figures Collection website. So if you are a figure collecting guy, this might be right up your alley. Another WWE wrestler has left the promotion. It was announced that Lacey Evans is no longer under contract with WWE. Evans had been with the promotion since 2016 with no real momentum or memorable matches in that time. WWE and Evans both agreed to move on after this particular year. Dave Meltzer confirms this report, although no additional details were available at the time of this broadcast. An important round 2 this past week. That was a lot of news to think about. But we are done with news, and we have title matches and those exclusive results coming up for you here in round 3. However, warning, this next segment may contain spoilers for your favorite promotion. Please listen, but with caution. AEW FTW champion Jack Perry defeated Rob Van Dam to retain the AEW FTW championship. AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida defeated Anna Jay to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy defeated Johnny TV to retain the AEW International Championship. Rey Mysterio defeated WWE United States Champion Austin Theory to become the new WWE United States Champion. GCW World Champion Blake Christian defeated Chris Bay to retain the GCW World Championship. NXT Champion Carmelo Hayes defeated Andre Chase to retain the NXT Championship. AEW TNT Champion Luchasaurus defeated Brock Anderson to retain the AEW TNT Championship. AEW World Trios Champions House of Black defeated CMFTR to retain the AEW World Trios Championship. Flamer defeated AAA Reina de Reinas champion Taya Valkyrie to become the new AAA Reina de Reinas champion. QT Marshall defeated Pentagon Jr., Dralistiku, and Texacano Jr. to become the new AAA Latin American champion. AAA Mega Champion Hijo del Vikingo defeated Mike Bailey, Daga, and Jake Cartwheel to retain the AAA Mega Championship. GCW World Champion Blake Christian defeated Calibus to retain the GCW World Championship. NWA United States Tag Team Champions The Country Gentlemen defeated SVGS to retain the NWA United States Tag Team titles. NWA World TV Champion Thom Latimer defeated Jay Bradley to retain the NWA World TV Championship. That is the conclusion of round 3. Be sure to listen to this particular segment again in case you missed your favorite promotion and whether or not their champion retained or if a new champion was crowned. We are coming up to the end of round 2 wrestling. This is round 4. Did you know? Did you know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. You gotta love the bell. Did you know Jim Ross is credited with coming up for the idea to make The Rock refer to himself in the third person? Did you know Bob Remus was watching an old movie on TV called The D.I. starring Jack Webb? The movie inspired Remus to create a drill instructor gimmick which would later become Sergeant Slaughter. Did you know in the fall of 1987, Bruce Pritchard was given a tryout by the WWF as a commentator under his real name? While he was not hired as an announcer, Pritchard would eventually sign with the company and portray various characters including Rio Rogers and Brother Love, as well as becoming a high-ranking executive for Vince McMahon. Did you know while Jeff Cobb was trying to make it as a professional wrestler competing in Lucha Underground, he worked part-time as an automobile mechanic to supplement his income? Cobb incorporated his mechanic's overalls into his Montaza Cueto character. And did you know Cherry, aka Cara Drew, was one of the final main roster call-ups along with Deuce and Domino from WWE's developmental relationship with OVW. She also holds the distinction of being Natalya's first WWE opponent on TV and wrestled Vicky Guerrero in Vicky's first ever singles wrestling match. That is the conclusion of Round 2 Wrestling. I'm your host, SlimmDa KID. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week. Well, I bring you more news, more rumors, and more results from the world of professional wrestling.